Indonesia is an archipelago nation in Asia-Pacific area. Geographically, Ring of Fire surrounds Indonesia. The assembly of Eurasia, Circa-Pacific and Australian tectonic plate in the ocean that surrounds Indonesia creates the series of volcanoes which are deployed along Indonesia's area from Sumatra Island until Papua. From now on, more than 150 volcanoes in Indonesia are active. They can erupt anytime with or without any signs and cause a great disaster. Besides, the tectonic plate is unstable. The fracture or folding of tectonic plate will create another disaster like earthquake and mud flood. One of Indonesia's provinces is East Java. May 29, 2006 is the beginning of a massive disaster in East Java, started from a petroleum drilling activity by Lapindo Inc. A mud volcano appeared in Renokenongo village, Porong, Sidoarjo. This mud outpouring spread wider and wider until it reached 640 hectares and sunk some areas of three sub-districts, Porong, Jabon, and Tanggulangin. Hundreds of families and thousands of persons were forced to evacuate. Meanwhile, 10,000 houses, 4 government offices, 30 factories, and 65 praying places were sunk by the outpouring of mud. When local hazard strikes, children are predominantly the most vulnerable population group. Children enrolled in schools are particularly vulnerable to the negative effects of disaster for a number of reasons, including structural instability of schools and children's lack of knowledge about preparedness and awareness toward disaster. Because of Sidoarjo mud volcano, thousands of children lost their schools. 3 Islamic boarding schools and 33 public schools were also sunk. The government has done so many efforts to overcome the issue regarding the mud flood disaster, starting from building dam to confine the mud flood. The government also constructing spillway system to pipe the mud into Porong River. Nevertheless, bigger disaster potencies are lurking people who live near the dam, especially one of the most vulnerable groups in population, the children. The overflowing of the mud will occur if the dam cannot intercept and retain the water which comes from the rain. Another event like the eruption of the stone which construct the dam may occur anytime. Swayanaka Team suggests some solutions regarding the mud flood issue in Sidoarjo. The solution aimed to reduce the number of deaths, injuries, and social impact caused by mud flood disaster and its secondary disaster potencies in schools. We focus on the structural and non-structural areas. The first one is structural area. Schools should create a safer building by putting some evacuation route signs and school maps in every corner and wall inside the schools. These signs will help them to evacuate the children to the safer place faster. In example, to the assembly point. Assembly point is needed in every school to make it easier for the rescuer team to evacuate the children out of the disaster area. Our second focus is non-structural area. Children must be acknowledged about preparedness and awareness toward disaster. One of the simplest ways to acknowledge them is by doing a simulation in a fun way. We can do a simulation using simple tools like megaphone and some printed signs, which are very applicable for the children to face the real condition whenever the hazard strikes. As a long-term asset, we suggest the government and schools officials to create a standardized school curriculum regarding the disaster management system for children to be implemented in every school in Indonesia. We hope that these solutions can empower children to be alert, aware, and ready to face disaster that may come anytime and anywhere.